We all belong outside. We're drawn to nature, whether it's the recorded sounds of the ocean we doze off to, or the succulents that adorn our homes. Nature makes all of our lives, well, better. Despite all this, we often go about our busy lives removed from it. But the outdoors is closer than we realize. With AllTrails, you can discover trails nearby and explore confidently. With offline maps and on-trail navigation, download the free app today and make the most of your summer with AllTrails.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Hello there and welcome to This Song Is Yours, a podcast where we dive deep into the world of music and uncover the stories behind your favourite songs and artists. I'm your host, Simon Fink, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. Our guest today on the podcast is rock songwriter Towa Bird. She's a singer, songwriter, producer, and famed guitarist who you might recognise from TikTok, but who has also played with the likes of Olivia Rodrigo and toured with the likes of Renee Rapp. Towa Bird is releasing her debut album, American Hero, today, and we've got her on the podcast to chat all about it. In today's episode, we're speaking to Towa Bird about the making of this record and how long it's been in the works. We discuss her introduction to music and forming a band at the age of 12. We also talk about the importance of representation within music and being able to see yourself reflected in your own musical idols. Additionally, we will discuss whether we'll get to see Towa Bird come and tour here in Australia. We want to thank Annie for her help with today's episode and include a reminder to subscribe to this very podcast and check out all of our details and Towa Bird's details within today's show notes. So let's not wait any further. Here is our conversation with Towa Bird.
It's the loneliest, come right by my side, into the sunset. I could smoke you up or burn in my leather vest. I love you.
Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Towa Bird. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today. You're joining us, you're in Australia with us at the moment.
It's true. It's true. The rumours are true. Yeah, I'm in Sydney right now.
The rumours are correct. Is this the first time that you've come down here?
No, actually, I was here. My dad sent me a bunch of pictures of the last time I was here, and I was probably like up to my hip now. So like maybe 8 years old, 9 years old. So don't have like actual distinct memories of Australia, but I'm ready to make some.
Look, very excited to hear that, and welcome to like our country. Hopefully some things have changed in that time since since you were 8. So
it's been very efficient so far though. Airport,
that's good.
So efficient.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
10 out of 10. Good job on that, guys.
I imagine as like a traveling musician and artist, you probably see a lot of airports. So I imagine that that's kind of like if we can get that down, that's probably a helpful thing.
It is. It is. It really is a pain when they're bad. It really makes sense to me, at least.
Well, look, I'm very glad that you are here with us.
This is a great.
It's super exciting because at the end of this week, you are releasing the debut record from yourself, American Hero. It's coming out. It'll be available to everyone in the world. Firstly, congratulations on this record. How are you feeling with it coming out?
So anxious, terribly anxious. I hope the excitement kicks in pretty soon because I'm ready for that, the nervousness to go away. But at this point, I think the excitement will come once it's out. And like it'll be in the world and I'll be feeling better.
Well, look, we were very lucky enough to have a listen to the record before it has come out, and I imagine that there's nothing to be worried about in terms of once this record is out, people are going to love it. It's a fantastic record, so congratulations.
Thank you very much. I did work very hard on it, so that's good.
Of course. I know that like label and signed wise, it's only been a few years, but I feel like this record for yourself has kind of been a long time in the making. I know you originally started making music, I believe, when you were like 11 or 12.
Yeah, I started playing guitar at 12. So definitely it has been a while, and I started my first band, although, you know, we were kind of just like mucking around. At 14 I started my first band, and we started just like playing live shows and just like kind of like around the city. So in a way I have been at this for a while, but I don't think I like properly like allowed myself to be an artist. I thought, you know, this would just be like a cute little hobby that I'd do for a little bit and get a real job, you know. And I fear that I still do not have a real job, but I'm trying my hand at this. And yeah, so I started writing this album maybe like 2.5 years ago now, 2 years ago. So it's kind of like taken on different forms, but I am really like proud of where I've landed with it, and it does feel like a good introduction to me. It's kind of just like a Towa 101. First step into the real world, you know.
I love that. When you were writing this record, is there a point where you remember kind of, I know that you've co-written with others and I believe produced music for other people as well. Do you remember that turning point? Do you remember the first song you kind of wrote for this record and was like, oh, this is possibly for my project, for me?
Yeah. The first song I wrote that felt like this project was the song Boomerang, which is out already. And I remember writing that song and being like, oh, okay, this is cool. And I think what was so special to me about that song is like the guitar and the vocal are just as important as each other. So they kind of hold exactly the same weight, and they're both kind of a unique voice, which is always what I strive to achieve in my own music, is to have instruments be just as important as each other. And I remember writing that song, hearing back like the first rough demo and being like, okay, cool. Good. Yeah.
That's awesome. I believe there was a few producers that you worked with for this record, one of them being the lovely Alexander 23, who we've had on this podcast. As someone who's worked with songwriters and producers previously, maybe on the other side, was the experience for you any different this time around being the artist?
Yeah, it was. It's very different actually. When you're kind of in the room, I have like just different priorities. And it's also, you know, I'm writing about my life experiences as opposed to like helping someone else formulate or articulate theirs. And yeah, I think I really love it. It's really cool. Like you get to take on you get to wear a different hat. And you're kind of like accessing the same sort of skill set, but yeah, more just like focused on making sure it feels authentic to you, and feels like it kind of like checks all the boxes for what this record will be for me.
100%. I think in doing research for today, having a look at a number of kind of the I guess previous press that you've done in terms of and talking to what you just kind of said in terms of being authentic to yourself. I know that this record was also important in terms of when growing up, there was a lot of songs that were kind of like male gazy, and that there weren't many, I want to say not many like mainstream representations of like queer artists or artists of color that were in this similar kind of position. And for you now, I imagine, and can only speak from my own perspective, but I imagine that now being able to contribute to that canon that in the last number of years as incredible artists from the queer community and artists of colour that have kind of contributed to the mainstream pop zeitgeist. I think there's a Chapel Roan record just behind me up there. How is that experience now? And I guess how much of going into this record and writing it, obviously you want to have a great representation of that and add to that canon, but was that always kind of front of mind, or was that something that just came naturally because that is naturally yourself?
I think it is more the latter, actually. For me, it was never like, I'm going to write like a queer song today. It was just like, I'm going to write about the person that I love, or I'm going to write about the person that broke my heart, or like, I'm going to write about sex. And it like just so happens to be queer. And It's like never my intention to write like a queer album or like a a POC album. It's more like that's, I've kind of just like, I write about my life and I always have. And like that so happens to be the spaces that I occupy. And like if that can contribute further and it become like bigger than the songs itself and kind of like add to the amazing zeitgeist of queer artists that currently exist, then like hell yeah, like I'm doing my job. And but yeah, my intention is to make good music and write about my life. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, no, look, I can very much respect that. I was wondering whether you might indulge me a little bit. The track that I loved off the record, I kind of find myself coming back to it time and time again, was Last Dance. Or Last Dance, sorry, very Australian accent, the nasal parts snuck out. Yeah, that song gave off like very big like main character energy from like a 2000 kind of rom-com, which I absolutely loved.
Oh, amazing.
I was wondering if you might give us just a little bit of, I guess, what the inspiration or talk about the creation of that track.
Yeah, so it was actually, I wrote that with my friend Deb Never, who is also an amazing indie artist. And we co-wrote that together, and it's about our friendship. So it's kind of like she's one of those people in my life that I see and like I feel like people can relate to this, every like 6 to 9 months you see that one friend and you're a little bit like pissed off at them initially because you're like, why haven't I seen you in 6 months? Like, what's going on? And then you see them and you kind of just like fall right back in to just like the groove of like your friendship and your relationship. And so that song is about our friendship.
I absolutely love that. That's incredible. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Cheers. Yeah.
It might be a little bit of an obvious question. I know that over the last year, you've kind of been touring under your own music. I know that there was touring with Renee Rapp for her tour. I believe there's a number of festival dates upcoming, I think September and August, September, October across the US. Any of our US listeners, I think the All Things Go festival as well. Incredible lineup. Curious whether you might be coming back to see us in Australia in a live setting. Maybe we'll be able to get some shows at some point from yourself in support of the record.
I would love that. I really would. Yeah, like this is also my first time here. I've only been here since yesterday morning as like a professional, and like actually working here. And like I've only had really amazing experiences so far. So like I'm very much down. As long as people buy tickets, then that's all I care about.
I don't think you'll have any issue buying tickets. Where was it? I think there was a TikTok uploaded earlier this week where you're in front of the Opera House saying people don't know, or people around me don't know 5 days till my album comes out. And the comment section was just absolutely chock-a-block with Australian fans being like, what? Why? When's the show? Melbourne, all these other comments, which I'm sure you've already read. So I have a feeling there won't be any issue kind of selling tickets when we do get the luck to see you playing some shows down here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I grew up in Asia, which obviously I know is a different continent, but it's similar. It feels similar because of the time zone, and like I can feel the influence of Australia and Asia in each other. So it like, in a way, even though I haven't spent that much time in this country, there is some sort of sense of like home. It resembles Asia a little bit, and so I'm down.
Well, look, putting it out into the universe, so we'll be able to either have you back on the podcast when you're back in town, or we do get to see some kind of shows in some point soon. Towa, we would usually ask our guests what they're currently listening to. Is there anything at the moment that's kind of on high rotation for yourself?
I mean, I can't help but see Chapel and Billy's album Behind You, and I also do love West Coast. I love that record. So I think, I've been overindulging in Charlie XCX's album, the like deluxe one. I was going for a run this morning and I was running to that album and just running so fast for like So that's been great. But I always kind of like, I love to listen to the girls. I'm so just like all of the girlies I'm obsessed with. And then I always kind of like revisit older like indie rock albums. Those are sort of like my comfort albums, like old Arctic Monkeys albums, old Strokes albums, yeah albums. It's always kind of like albums. And so like those ones are like the safe havens. And then some of the exciting music I'm listening to is like, or up and coming, sorry, is Charlie Chappell, Remy Wolf, obviously love Billy. Just the girls, man.
Look, I definitely think, and as you've said, like it's kind of evident, I think actually it's all female behind me, is that the girls are definitely having a year, and regardless of what genre, it seems like they're just 2024 is, sorry guys, maybe next year, but it's the year of the girls.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. We'll take it for 2024.
Well, adding to that canon of 2024 being for the girls, it is your record, it is American Hero, and it's out later this week. We'll make sure that there are links in the podcast show notes so people can buy the record, follow you on social media, and again, hopefully see some Australian dates soon. But Towa Bird, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast.
Oh, thank you, Simon. Appreciate it.
Ready to elevate your everything shower? Meet Osea's new Undaria Algae Body Wash. This pH-balanced plant-based formula gently cleanses without stripping your skin. Featuring the all-natural citrusy fragrance of their best-selling body oil, Undaria Algae Body Wash transports you to a tropical paradise, indulging your skin and senses. It's the scent of summer year-round. Elevate your shower ritual with Osea. Get 10% off your first order with code SEAWEED at OSEAMalibu.com.